Hey guys, I've just been thinking today just how blessed I am, and I wanted to share a little bit about my past for those of you who either don't know or was curious about my journey and what's led me to where I am today and why I'm focusing on some different things like dōTERRA in my life. And for those who don't know, I'm medically diagnosed with Crohn's disease. I was diagnosed at age 16. And that was rough. I mean, I'm in the middle of high school and I haven't even started my menstrual cycle yet, actually. The disease had already been robbing my body for, gosh, don't know how long, of nutrients that was necessary for me to just fully even develop as a woman. And I was often weak. I definitely was anemic. Couldn't give blood. I tried one time at the high school and they were like, whoa, you can't do this. That's no, you need to be on supplements. You need, on. And that was like, well, I'm fine. My body had adjusted because our bodies are amazing at adapting to our situation that we're in. So that was 16 and I played basketball or volleyball that year, and then senior year didn't, and went off to college and was just trying to enjoy life, but was physically declining and not even sure how much I was. And I went to college at Western Baptist then, and now it's Corbin University, and that's in Salem, Oregon. And it was an awesome freshman year. It was really great. And I headed off actually that first semester to massage school. So I was 19. I just turned 19. I went for a semester's college, and then I headed to massage school in Salt Lake City. And that was amazing. It was a full school year, so 3/4 of massage modalities and learning different things, but we were using products that actually were synthetic, and I didn't realize at the time either it was just too much body work for my body to handle or what, but my sister even came to visit me one time. I thought I kept getting food poisoning. Like I'd be just puking. It was just awful. It was kind of an awful last semester of massage school because I was declining and losing more weight, and I wasn't really sure what was going on. Really inflamed at that time and not feeling great. So once I was done with school, and I'm pretty sure it was actually mostly the lotion we were using, but at the time I thought I was just getting too much body work. My body was just pushing out more things, and then I didn't know what was going on. So fast forward to age 20, I'm working in Salem, Oregon at chiropractic office, and just keep losing weight, just keep not doing well. And all of a sudden I got really bad acutely. And I won't go into details because it can be kind of graphic, but I ended up in the hospital and a couple of times. And I had just gotten off my mom's insurance, and I was just working at a chiropractor's office and getting a little jittery. So this is intense stuff that I dealt with back then. And so just bear with me if I get a little emotional about it. And yeah, I didn't have insurance. I ended up going to the hospital and trying to figure out what was going on, what we needed to do. Went to several different people at that time. And then my mom came home from Israel. She was serving at a place over there, and she goes, you just need to move home. We need to figure out what's going on and how intense this situation is, and see if we can try to heal you naturally. So that's the route we went first. And that was in early 2007. I moved back home. How old am I at that point? This was almost 21, I guess. And we tried, I feel like, everything under the sun that I could naturally, went to eating all fruits and veggies and, really great diet, and definitely praying to the Lord. At that point, I still really didn't like vegetables. I tried, all my life, and I have a bad gag reflex and just not be doing well in that respect. I couldn't even eat zucchini. And I remember one time sitting at the table, and Mom made, you know, some nice cooked zucchini for me with great seasoning, and she's like, just try it, Adrienne, just try it. I'm like, okay, Lord, help me. And like, I actually liked it. And for me, that was a miracle, because I did not like any vegetables, and I just felt like the Lord's letting me eat like good stuff for me. And but still, like, nothing like food wise was helping. It was a really dark place for me. I'd walk around places. I was practically bedridden. I'd drive and then walk to a park, or walk through the store or the library, because I went to the library because back then actually we had dial-up internet, and I wanted something a little bit faster to check Facebook and emails and stuff. And I'd have people actually stop me, sweet women actually, and they'd be like, honey, you need to eat. Food is good. And I'd start crying and be like, I know, I'm just sick. You know, like, that's how bad it was. I was like 120 pounds or less, and I'm 5'10". So that's not good. Yeah, I'd drive to the library, and walking around in there for a little bit trying to find a book would wipe me out. That's how low my energy was. My hemoglobin, I got that tested at one point. It was at like a 7, which normal range is, I think, upwards of 20 or something. I can't remember now, but they were like, if you're at a 0, you're dead. You're at a 7. This is serious. So I went on some intense drugs. I went on Imuran, and I went on Humira, and tried some different things to help solve the main problem that was going on with my diseased small intestine. And, you know, still nothing was working. And there was definitely some highlights throughout that. Like Cassie, my oldest sister, she's 7 years older than I am. And she did a Bible study with me, a women's Bible study, which was really cool, because I knew I could still have peace and hope, even if I was headed to death or if I was going to recover. But we'd never had a sweet time like that, because she is so much older, and she happened to be home, I think, starting veterinary clinic work. Like, she was already a veterinarian, I think, at that point. And she was home too. And my brother was actually home too. And it was a crazy time. I was depressed. I was even suicidal. And I've never gotten to a place like that before in my life. And it was a scary time. And I didn't want surgery. That was the last thing I ever wanted. But we met with the doctor at OHSU, and she agreed to see me, and I was able to fill out things, and because I still had no health insurance, and you can't get one at that point, you know, back then, with pre-existing conditions if you like lose your insurance. And so they took on my case at OHSU. They I think only through the power of prayer, like, they accepted my case and paid for everything. I mean, upwards of probably $500,000 total in all my medical expenses. I only had to pay minimum things like that my mom helped me out with my hardly existent savings, because I was, you know, 19, 20. I didn't know how to exactly save for everything. So I had 2 surgeries, you know, at age 21. And amazingly, they worked. You know, I started gaining weight, and I felt like, you know, my life was back. But I was still so new. It was still such an interesting season of my life, like, because, you know, you're still supposed to, as Crohn's people, are supposed to stay away from stress and certain foods, and, you know, that goes down the line, and all these different things that are good for you and what you're supposed to find out. And I was like, yeah, I'll be fine. And so I finished school, and it was a crazy year, and moved down to the Bay Area, and I found my husband. And that was incredible shock, and quite a blessing. It was really great. There were some residual things that still Crohn's people always deal with, you know, like bowel related, and ended up getting actually a couple of kidney stones that were really bad when we were married. One was even 7 millimeters long, and thankfully I didn't need surgery for that one. I was able to pass, but it was crazy, and it was painful, and it was still very much, my health was still rocky, to say the least, even though the most diseased part was now out of my system, as well as my appendix. It was one of the most joyful times of my life because I'd finally married, you know, at age 26. Like, oh my gosh, I'd found my husband that came about in a very way I wasn't expecting, but that's a story for another time. But still dealing with some major health things, and wasn't until after I had my daughter and had a really crazy pregnancy, just had a lot of issues that, again, I won't necessarily go into because some people watching maybe won't want all the gory details, but to sum it up, during Olivia's pregnancy, I was dealing with major constipation, like so much that I wanted to die. I was like, Lord, take the baby and just let me die. Like, that's how bad it was. And I'm not a dramatic person. If you guys know me, I'm not dramatic at all. So that was hard too, but it's such a blessing because I was like, look at this amazing man I get to share life with, and I'm about to have a baby. And at that time I was working at Google. Like, I definitely knew and felt that I was blessed, and knew that I just needed to hold on. But you can get to a point sometimes where you just over whatever you're dealing with. Do you know what I mean? Like, whatever you're chronically in, you can't see the forest through the trees. And in that time, I was also just there, and you know, going through these crazy hormones that I never experienced before. So that was not great. And we went up to, she was out though. Finally she was out, and things started to get a little bit better, but still was not, I was just starting to get a little bit more of that tinge pain that scared me. That literally scared me, like brought me to my knees, which is good because I always want to be going to God first for anything physical, emotional, hormonal, whatever. But I was a little scared. I'm like, because they tell you, for Crohn's people, after surgery, expect 5 years of health or less. And then you'll need another surgery, and maybe another one, and maybe another one. And that was in the back of my mind. Like, I was like, am I gonna need surgery every 5 years? Am I going to be able to take care of my family? Am I going to be able to live the way I want to and not have to constantly be aware of where the bathroom is? Because that was, like, if I had to go, like, I had to know exactly where it was. And it was a very uncertain way to live. I felt like I couldn't go on a long hike or go camping how I wanted to, or, you know, just enjoy things the way I always thought I would be able to. And so it was just an uncertain time. I was trusting the Lord in faith, you know, and hoping kind of, and trying to have a good diet and doing what I was supposed to. Always be on a probiotic, you know, always do this, always do that. So I was. And thankfully, in Thanksgiving, after my daughter was born, so she was 6 weeks, we came up to visit my family here in Oregon because we were in the Bay Area. And Olivia was so colicky. And I was like, Lord, is she going to have what I have? And just, you know, like, just gassy and just crying, like scream crying. You know, moms, like, you know when your baby's uncomfortable, when they're kind of in pain. And that's how she was. And again, I'm just so upset. And it was like those fears were made manifest in my daughter's pain. And I was like, I shouldn't ever had a baby. Like, what was I thinking? And still trying to, you know, trust the Lord. And Cassie's calming me down. She's like, I'll take the baby. Go settle down. You know, just go pray. Go be with Adrian. Like, and I do have this roller here. Can I put this on her? For, you know, it's essential oils. I think it's the company you've been looking for ever since massage school. And I was like, I trust you, Cassie. I'm just gonna, you know, like, I'm just trusting right now because I was so upset. I couldn't even think straight. And she rolled on that little roller of digestion. And I'm gonna cry right now over Olivia being able to toot. Like, that's how upsetting it can be for a mom to see your child in pain. When you're in pain, like, you can get through it and you can figure it out, but that moment was so life-changing for me to find something that wasn't intense drugs like I'd been through, like with Imuran, and the side effects that I had to experience. It was just this simple little plant-based medicine that God provided us in that moment of distress, and gave my daughter some relief. And it was a beautiful thing. And that's when I started using it, like 4.5 years ago. It was dōTERRA. I was like, Cassie, sign me up. Like, I'll do my own research later, but like, sign me up. And I did. I bought the kit that comes with the 10 oils and just started there. Just started learning about them, using them. And when our probiotic came out with dōTERRA, I started using that. I was like, oh, this is what a probiotic's supposed to help with. It's actually supposed to do something. And now I can tell if I miss a day. Like, it's actually helped in ways that I had no idea that a probiotic could. So that's kind of my base story of like my health journey. And I've been using dōTERRA for, you know, like the 4 years now, and trying to figure out emotionally how to help support, and physically how to help support people. You know, we have a goal. It's just that change of mindset of like, okay, I've got this head tension. Am I going to go reach for the Tylenol, or am I going to go reach for Aroma Touch or Deep Blue, and things like that, day-to-day things. Or when the kids are temper tantrum, Archer's going through some screaming stuff right now, and I praying on my way to the to the essential oils, going, okay, Lord, how do I handle this as a mom? Let me grab this roller for support. You know, I know only God heals the heart. Only God can intercede in the depths of our need. Only He provides true peace. I know that. And I also know that He's made all these plants that are powerful, that I will use to help. You know, I'm going to use wisdom in what He's already provided on this earth to support my family, because we're doctor moms, right, guys? You know, we're the doctors in our family. We are trying to do the best we can for our kids. We're trying to do the best we can for ourselves, for our spouses, in this world of insanity in so many different ways. And you go to your doctor and they write you a prescription for something that has 50 side effects. Or something that you might need another pill to counteract that side effect, to counteract that one. And I knew personally I just never wanted to go down that road. I've been there. I love our Western medicine. I'm so thankful that I was able to have 2 surgeries to correct my intensely diseased intestinal tract. I'm so thankful for that. And, you know, my older sister who's a veterinarian, you know, and uses that to help animals and figure out what's wrong with them and apply her knowledge. And it's wonderful that God's given us brains to be able to think up these things, you know. And now dōTERRA, our scientists testing things and figuring out ways that our essential oils can be the most therapeutic, and how we can integrate them in our daily lives so that we can just be happier, healthier people. And yeah, so that's just my goal for our family. That's my hope and goal for you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me something. I definitely use essential oils as a ministry too. If you guys are hurting, reach out. Let me send you a sample. Let me get you plugged into our amazing groups, because life is not meant to be lived alone. It's meant to be in fellowship with God and people. And if I can help you in any way, you know, with that emotional or spiritual side, pointing you back to the Lord, pointing you to different supplements or products for your physical help. I mean, that's my goal for you, is to be whole. That's what I want, as much as we can on this side, right? I love you guys. Bye.